This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, answering more questions today for the Power Project, brought to you by DangerouslyHardcore.com. So we got a question here off the YouTubes. This guy says that he's got an imbalance. He feels his right side is much larger than his left side, talking about his spinal erectors. I really hate these kind of questions. He does say he's looking forward to the backyard meet of the century at Super Training Gym November 3rd. But I really hate these kind of questions because I think they're unnecessary. I think it's just people kind of overthinking things. If you feel like you have an imbalance, then try to balance it out. If you feel like something's off, then try to fix it. It's very simple. So if you feel like your left side is weaker than your right side, do a couple extra reps for your left side. Use a little bit more weight on your left side. You can try a couple different things like that if you really feel like it's an issue. But if you're talking about your right side is much larger than your left in the spinal erector area, how do you isolate that? I have no idea. I don't think you can just flex one side of your spine for that kind of work like that. I don't think things work that way. Anyway, what I would suggest to you is that you switch your hands up when you deadlift. Use both a double overhand grip as well as an under-over grip. But also, if your right hand is normally under or your left hand is always under, whichever way is always the case, then switch it up, especially through your warm-ups. Be careful pulling heavy that way, with the way that you're not used to, because you could tear a bicep. So pick your poison there. But it's a good way to balance things out. I do it all the time. I normally have my left hand under. I use my right hand under a lot for warm-ups. Kind of hurts, feels awkward, but I still do it anyway because I think in the long run it's going to help kind of balance things out. So anyway, don't ask stupid questions like that anymore. That'd be the best thing to do. We got another question here, strengthening the bottom of a sumo deadlift. And this is actually in the next Power magazine. I asked a question of some of the greatest deadlifters around, including Ed Cohn, Konstantin Konstantinov, and many others, Stan Efferding and Eric Lillibridge, and Mike Tashir. So you're going to look for that in the next issue of Power Magazine, thepowermagazine.com. Subscribe today. But this guy wants to know how to strengthen the bottom position of a sumo deadlift. You think deficit deadlifts for a few weeks could be helpful? Yada, yada, yada. How many reps, percentages should I do at speed work? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Navid Raza, blah, 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 blah. If you're out there, this question's off of Facebook. And he says he's a raw lifter. Being a raw lifter makes the beginning part of the sumo deadlift very difficult. I would do a couple of things. Number one, try doing ultra-wide sumo deadlifts for about 2 or 3 weeks. Keep the repetitions around 5 or 6. You're looking to do about 2 or 3 sets, really. The weights don't have to be crazy heavy, but what you're going to notice is you're going to be really stuck on the floor. Now, if you're a guy who can already go wide, then maybe try sumo stiff leg deadlifts, switch things up a little bit. So what I'd suggest is whatever your normal program is, I'm not going to try to change that because I have no idea what you're doing, and that's too long of a conversation. Do what you normally do. Also keep in mind that conventional deadlifting will help this out a lot, so I would say conventional deadlift every other week. After you do whatever it is the hell that you normally do with your deadlifting, do the sumo stiff leg deadlifts or the ultra wides. Pick one or the other and do about 2 or 3 sets of 6 reps. Try to get to a weight that's challenging, a weight that you can only really handle for 4 or 5, but you push it that much harder to make it to reps 5 and 6. That'll help you out tremendously off the floor. Also, keep in mind some of the little details. Your form, well, it's a big detail, I guess. Your form is going to be crucial. Your positioning is going to be crucial. Your positioning out of the bottom is going to be everything. That's what's going to start you off. That's what's going to start you off fast off the bottom, is if your positioning is good. So in your normal workouts, when you're doing your sumo deadlifting, rest at the bottom for about 4 or 5 seconds in between reps. I would also suggest that you back off of doing singles for a little bit. Let's take a month and let's try to build some things up. Let's use sets of 3, sets of 5, sets of 6, that type of stuff for a little while. And every time that you do a rep, set the weight down and try to rest at the bottom for a few seconds and then come back up. What that's going to do is that's going to help to eliminate some of that stretch reflex that you're getting by setting yourself up quickly and going. It's also going to kind of negate the initial pull. Once you broke the inertia, once you broke off the floor, then the deadlift becomes quite easy. And that's why reps number 2, 3, 4, and 5 a lot of times are pretty easy for people. So let's rest those weights in the ground. Let's attack that bottom positioning. You can utilize some deficit deadlifting. That'll certainly help. Deficit deadlifts for speed work. I don't really think that the deficits are going to make that big of a difference for you. They can help overall with just everything in a deadlift in terms of the start and in terms of the finish. But really more so than anything, you got to have your form dialed in. You got to stay tight. Some speed work can help a lot because it can help what's the word I'm looking for? It can help to teach you the form over and over and over again. So doing 8 sets of 1 or 10 sets of 2 or whatever it is that you choose, I would suggest about 8 sets of 3 or 10 sets of 2, somewhere in that range. So you're getting in a large amount of work. But again, make sure you rest those weights on the floor a little bit. I don't always suggest that to everybody. Sometimes it's good to do touch and go as well. It's just different things for different time periods when it comes to strength training. But we are running out of time here, and hopefully that helps you become more explosive off the floor. Remember to just lift like an animal. That's the other thing. When you deadlift, you got to deadlift with some anger. You got to deadlift with a little bit of hatred in your heart. And that is it from supertraining.tv. Later.